Good evening, everyone. It being 7 o'clock, I'll call the meeting to order. First is the approval of the agenda. If we can have a motion. Moved by Councillor Tower, seconded by Councillor O'Neill.
Your Worship.
Yes, go ahead.
For approval of agenda, I would like to add under new business that I'll be bringing up a motion of the height restriction for grass.
Thank you.
I'd like to add under new business, I have a letter for the resignation of Megan Mitten.
Thank you. Can we vote on the agenda as amended? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Passed. Okay, we go to question period. Anyone who'd care to ask questions?
Good evening. My name is Linda Michaud. I live on Weldon Street, and I've been there for a number of years, probably about 11 years altogether. And as a result, on my way to work and back and just out doing my errands, I walk and drive by Memorial Park on a really regular basis, several times a week. And it's bothered me more and more over the years to see the overgrowth of weeds in Memorial Park in all the planting beds. And this park is supposed to be a tribute to our veterans. It's a public demonstration about how we honor them. And so it makes me really sad when I'm walking by our park and I see these weeds getting worse and worse all through the summer and every summer. And so, especially when I'm walking with visitors who come to visit Sackville from out of town, and it's a little bit embarrassing. So I have a question for council and staff. I'm just wondering, why is Memorial Park not kept up better, especially the weeding of the planting beds? And can that be fixed up before Memorial Day, before Remembrance Day, sorry, this year?
Mr. Cole?
Thank you. We definitely will have it cleaned up before Remembrance Day. We do every fall, get there before Remembrance Day and try to clean it up. We do our best to try to stay on all of our parks and keep them wet, including our 150 tree circles and other things like that. I do apologize. We try to do our best to get our staff out there as often as we can, but they do have a lot of other tasks that they do as well, and we do try to stay on top of it as best we can.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Move on. Are there any disclosures of interest tonight? There being none, move on to minutes. For the regular, to approve the minutes for the regular council meeting of September 10th, 2018. So moved by Councillor Black. Seconder? Councillor O'Neill. Question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. The minutes of the special meeting of council of October 1st, 2018. Moved by Councillor Black, seconded by Councillor Butcher. Question? All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's passed. And the special meeting of council closed in camera of October 1st, 2018. Moved by Councillor Evans, seconded by Councillor Tower. Question? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Business arising from the minutes of September 10th. Councillor Evans.
I am about to stall for time. Here we go. I move that council accept the 5-year capital plan for designated highways as per the amended projects list, Appendix A attached, and authorize that it be submitted to the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure. I guess that's the end of my motion, period.
Seconder? Councillor Tower.
Just to speak to it briefly, if this sounds familiar, it's because we thought we'd passed this last month. And we just want to make sure that we had an amendment, and we had the motion, we had an amendment, and we just want to make sure that we, in fact, have done exactly what we thought we did last month. So it's just to clarify, there's nothing changed. This is exactly what we thought we did last month.
Any discussion? No? Question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Okay, Southeast Regional Services. Very short report. There was no meeting in September. Mostly, I think, due to the UMNB being so close to that meeting, so we didn't have a meeting. And I'll move on to planning. Ms. Bickford?
So in the month of September, there were 12 building and development permits issued in the town of Sackville. This brings our year-to-date total to 56 permits at a construction value of $21.8 million approximately. Compared to last year, there was 40 permits at the same time issued for a construction value of 11.9. So again, the construction value difference this year is mainly the larger commercial and institutional and industrial projects that are underway in the town. The Planning Review and Adjustment Committee did not review any development proposals that required their approval during the month of September. And other projects that the staff have worked on include Mount A planning process class, where we took a tour of the town of Sackville and discussed a number of planning items in the town, and as well as research on cannabis cultivation and licensing facilities within the area.
Are there any questions of Ms. Pickford? Okay, thank you, Lee. We'll move on to reports now. First of all, the mayor's report. The mayor obviously is out of town tonight, so I will just read you the things he's been up to. On the media front, he talked to the CBC about the pipe break on Moffat Avenue a month or so ago. Talked to the Times and Transcript about flooding strategy, about our new MLA-elect, and about the UMNB resolutions that Sackville put in, and to the Tribune Post on the MLA-elect. The mayor attended several events: the opening of Fall Fair, the Fall Fair Parade, Farm Day Rotary Breakfast, and Dr. Scobie's book launch. Other activities, he had meetings with the Deputy Minister of the Department of Transport and Infrastructure on multiple issues surrounding the flooding and the water control. He had meetings with the Minister and Deputy Minister of Local Government, a meeting with the Assistant Deputy Minister on Education, and last week, late last week, took the Dominic LeBlanc's assistant on a tour of the town developments and had a meeting on several issues. The UMNB, the Union of Municipalities of New Brunswick meeting, was in the first weekend of October, at the end of September. And all the resolutions the town put forward, regional recreation facility costs, railway flooding matters, and highway response costs for our first responders, all passed and will be referred on to the provincial government. And the mayor also sent statements of greeting to the TRHS Christmas basketball tournament and the Carl Ward hockey tournament, and also had a meeting with the owner of Camtran, the Maloney plant, and a tour of the plant. So that was the mayor's report for this evening. If you have any questions, you'll have to wait for the mayor to get back. Okay, we'll move on to the CAO report.
Thank you, Worship. My report's in the package on page 16, and once again, just noting that it's been another very busy month for all the departments, and all of the details are contained within their respective reports. So I'll leave it to those reports as they're tabled to come forward. If there's any questions, I'm sure they can be addressed at that time as well. The other point I just want to mention is the 2019 budget process will get underway later this month. The first public meeting is on October 22nd, and I'm sure that'll be re-emphasized again during the financial report as well. I think there's a number of individuals and organizations have already made request to present, and if there's any other interested parties, they should contact the treasurer to make arrangements. And I also just want to take a moment to thank the town for providing me the opportunity to attend the UMNB conference in Fredericton the latter part of September, early October. So with that, Your Worship, that's my report, unless there's any concerns or questions that council has.
Okay, thank you, Phil. I should say, too, that the council members that were at the UMNB will be reporting in November on what they did there. Okay, we'll move on to Finance and Administration. Councillor Tower.
Thank you, Your Worship. The bills and payrolls part is on page 17 and 18, and I'll ask our treasurer if he'll give some comments on the numbers.
Thank you, Councillor Tower. The large invoices that were paid for the month under general government, we paid invoices relating to our asset management plan cost, street paving and patching, garbage contract, power bills, and regional service commission payment for planning. Under utility government, Veolia payment, as well as power bills. General capital projects included most of our street reconstruction projects or culverts, for example, the King Street, Lawrence Street, and Main Street projects, and utility capital was related to Bridge Street, water, and sewer. The payroll is on page 18, and the notes are within the report as to what the overtime was for the month.
Thank you, Michael. I move that council accept the bills and payroll for the month of September 2018 as follows. General government, $357,735.48. General capital, $191,116.78. Utility government, $2,510.11. Utility capital, $34,350.94, and salaries, $215,607.73.
Thank you. Do you have a seconder? Councillor Black. Question?
Question?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moving on, the treasurer's report is on page 19 to 24. I get the white report in my hand here. Financial statements are included to the end of September 2018. During late August and early September, we received word from the New Brunswick Emergency Measures Organization that our claims for flooding damage that happened during the events of 2014 and the other event of 2017 have been approved for payment. We received a reimbursement of $16,294 for 2014 and $12,239 for the event in 2017. The 2019 budget process will begin with public presentations and requests from groups and organizations on October 22nd, 2018. This has been advertised, and there are a large number of groups making presentations to council that evening. Water and sewer accounts were read on October 1st, and the staff are currently working on preparing the bills for the period of July 1st to September 30th. This will be the third quarterly billing for 2018 budget year, and expected bills will go out mid-October. We continue to monitor the collection of the water and sewer shutoff letters that were sent in September 2017. And as of September 30th, 2018, we have collected $64,893, or 92.9% of $69,883 that was owing. On July 20th, 2018, we sent out an additional shutoff letters to 131 accounts. As of September 30th, 2018, we have collected $75,728, or 78.8% of $96,081 total outstanding, and will continue to monitor this process. Work continued through September on the town's asset management, stated maturity reports, and various policies through Public Sector Digest. The staff have received draft of these documents and are looking to finalize them during October and expect a presentation to council before the end of the year. A submission and our draft documents have been sent to FCM, and we have received word that all appears to be in order and approval will be granted for the full claim of $48,000 of this process. The total project costs were $60,644. Therefore, the town's total cost of all items was $12,644 rather than the original budget of $18,500, which would have only given us an asset management plan. Bylaws officers completed the summer terms on September 30th, and we would like to thank them for the service they provided over the last 4 months and wish them the best in their future careers and endeavors. Staff continue to work on filling the vacancy of the bylaws officer position. It was closed, the position closed in August with 82 applicants. Shortlisting of candidates has taken place and interviews have taken place, and a motion is coming here tonight. And the bylaws officer and animal control statistics are included with the report.
Thank you, Councillor Tower. Are there any questions? Councillor Evans?
Yeah, a couple of questions. The first, the refund we got from the EMO for the flooding, how is that handled? Because part of it's from 2014, and my hunch is this is going to have to show up as revenue this year, and that means it's not going to be in our capital fund where we have a problem from the front end loader. So this is good news. Can you tell me how it's handled and how good it is?
Yeah, these were operating expenses that were undertaking during the events. They were damage to roads and equipment, as well as emergency response through the fire department and things like that. So we, of course, expense them out in the years they took place, 2014 and 2017. We did not set up any receivables for them because there was no guarantee of recovery. Until the provincial government goes through the federal government, and then there is a fund that's allocated for it. So essentially, in 2018, those will report as revenue in the general revenue section of the budget. We did not budget for it, so it is additional revenue that we have received.
Councillor Evans?
My second question is Public Sector Digest. Now, we've been talking about this for close to a year. But Public Sector Digest is the name of the magazine they produce. That's the name of the company that does the consulting with us too?
Yeah, it is the name of the company that was awarded the contract. They have since gone through a restructuring reorganization, and I'm not 100% on the exact name now. It's PSD Consulting and Technology now. They have gone through a restructuring, I think in June, July, changed their name and based on their new focus, because their focus over the last probably 3 years has been on software as well as consulting.
Thank you. So we have another motion. Councillor Tower?
Yes, I do. First, the bylaws information is on page 25, and if you look at the number of activities they've had on behalf of the town, you see why we need the next motion completed. I move that whereas council has adopted various bylaws, and whereas a municipality wishes to ensure the proper enforcement of its bylaws, appointing an appropriate person to such position. Now therefore be it resolved that the following person is hereby authorized, designated, and appointed to act for and on the council's behalf in order to properly enforce all of the municipality's bylaws pursuant to the municipality's authority outlined below. Corey Springer, effective October 29, 2018. Be it further resolved that the above noted authorization, designation, and appointment is subject to the following. Section 133, 134, 135, and 136 of the Community Planning Act in order to enter upon property, issue orders, seek orders from the Court of the Queen's Bench, and commence proceedings in provincial court. Section 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 72, 80, 128, 129, 130, 131, 132, 133, 135, 139, 144, 150, 151, 153, and 195 of the Local Governance Act in order to serve tickets, commence proceedings in provincial court, enter upon property, and issue notices for dangerous and unsightly premises. Section 14 of the Police Act in order to serve tickets and properly execute their role as a bylaw enforcement officer. Be it further resolved that the above noted authorization, designation, and appointment shall continue until the person ceases to be employed by the municipality or until the appointment is limited or rescinded by council.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Black? Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Now move on to tourism and business development. Councillor O'Neill.
The report is on page 27. The month of September saw 1,141 people visit our tourist bureau, which is just about the same as it was last year. An open house was held at Via Rail Sackville train station with more than 30 people coming through the doors to the event, and many people expressed an interest in trying to repurpose the station. Staff spent a day and a half in Fredericton meeting with a wide variety of City of Fredericton business development agencies and support people. The trip was very well received with useful information, which will help to move us to create our new business development strategy and consider partnerships with other organizations in town. The two tourism strategic plan dates are going to be in sessions, and will be held on October the 12th and the 16th. Members of the public and business owners are encouraged to attend. Sackville, or Startup Sackville, will be having an open, will be having office hours event on October the 16th, and people interested in starting a business or expanding a current business can drop by to discuss their ideas with local and regional business support groups and granting agencies. The winners of the waterfowl photo contest are Zane Power, Kenzie Power, David McCaskill, Barbara Brush, and Paula Lushington. And you can visit that site on www.sackville.com to see their winning entries. The manager assisted with the Tanamar Heritage Trust launch on their new book, People of the Tanamar, and staff are recently produced promo videos online in strategic markets. This approach will ensure the maximum coverage for the videos and the best use of our advertising budget. The department continues to work on our sign capital project with new signage for the following areas planned before the year end: the Waterfowl Park, wayfind signs around town, long-term parking signs, and a new banner for the Civic Center, and a Poetry on Poles project. That's my report, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor O'Neill. Are there any questions? I have one of Mr. Kelly Spurl's. Are many people signed up for the Friday morning session?
Thank you, Your Worship. We have 4 people signed up at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, move on to public property and facilities, and Councillor Tower.
Thank you, Your Worship. The information is on page 29 and 30. The patching contractor, McDonald Paving and Contracting, were back in town during the month of September to complete several cross cuts due to utility services completed over the summer. They plan to have them back in the next couple of weeks to complete the patching program and deal with additional potholes that need to be patched. Once it's completed, the town will utilize the hot patch machine to deal with additional potholes that may occur during the fall. Public Works Department have completed the installation of the sewer and water main extension from Bridge Street to Robson Avenue, and working over the next several weeks to complete the service road and finish the cleanup and utility easement. Utility Department worked on our water meter replacement program through September. They will continue to complete additional replacements throughout the fall, as well as obtain water meter reads that were not obtained during the last meter read. They will continue to evaluate the meters to determine and fix the meters or the MX units as required. The Engineering Department continued to work with Bowser Construction on the tender of 2018-07 Main Street Reconstruction Project from Dufferin Street to Queens Road. The project has been progressing very well and is scheduled or hoped to be finished around the 1st of November, weather permitting. Please note that the section of Main Street continues to be closed to through traffic as well as pedestrian traffic during the duration of the project. The Engineering Department continued to work with Crandall Limited on the design of the Lawrence Street reconstruction and storm water mitigation project. Crandall Engineering continues to work on revised design of Phase 2 as per approved short-term option presented to Council during the September 4th Council meeting. Due to tender for the new Dufferin Street Sports Field Utility Shed Tender 2018-9, coming in 20% over budget, the staff have evaluated various options with respect to completing the project in 2018, and the staff present their recommendation to Council during the October discussion group. We are looking to complete the project in-house with town equipment, staff, and resources, as well as local subcontracts in order to complete the project within the allocated budget. There'll be a motion coming through tonight. Staff continues to keep in touch with DTI regarding the replacement of Carter Brook Culvert, Abido, project on Route 935. The contractor is on site. Construction continues with the project, completed late or early New Year. We will provide further information as it becomes available. At the Tanamar Veterans Memorial Civic Center, the Mount Allison Varsity Girls Women's Hockey Team has played several exhibition games, and they are playing quite well indeed. So we encourage people to come out and support the Mounties. Staff would like to welcome Adam Beal as a new staff member in the Parks and Facility Department. Adam will make a great addition to our team. October 1st saw the startup of all groups at the Civic Center with trials for provincial and high school teams, as well as selection of recreational teams. New this year, on a trial basis, adult pickup hockey Wednesday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., $5 per person. The first 2 goalies are free each day. Yeah, no why for that. The public skates are listed at the Civic Center calendar. Generally, they are noon skates on Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, 12 to 1:30, and most Sundays between 3 and 4. Municipal Parks. The Parks and Facility Department would like to thank all their summer crew for the job well done. The Parks and Facility Department tested the water qualities at Lilas Fawcett Park until the late September. The department is pleased to say that all tests in September came back as a result, with results that indicate great water quality for recreational use. Testing program will start up again in June of next year. The splash pad at the Bill Johnson Memorial Park has been closed for the season. Staff are maintaining all parks as well as lining football, soccer, and baseball fields, as time permits and leaves them to leave the arena. The Tanamar builders and renovations will begin the work on the 2 bridges in the Waterfowl Park beginning on October 15th. The department is asking public's patience when the work is being done, as sections of the trail will be closed for work. Staff are waiting the final paperwork on the Lund property and will be ready to proceed with that project once all the documents are completed. Potable water in Beach Hill Park will continue to be tested until it is unhooked, which I have been told will be happening very soon. And that is that report, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Tower. Are there any questions? Excuse me.
Can we go back
Councillor
to,
Neal, sorry.
can we go back to the hot asphalt machine and your patching? And I'm just wondering, when you put that patch in, do you have a tamper or a roller or anything to kind of pound it into place? Because it seems to be, once it's in, it's not there very long when it's on the road again.
Sure,
Mr.
Sure,
Acton?
I can tackle that one. Yes, they do have a hand tamper. It's a steel machine that's about 6 inches by 6 inches, and I've witnessed them themselves tamping that material in, trying to compact it into the hole. It doesn't work quite as well as a large roller, but you can't use a large roller on small potholes. So we will be out with the hot asphalt machine this fall, and we will be doing potholes and trying to keep ahead of it.
Councillor Evans?
Yeah, I just want to talk about the ball field shed. That's something that's been on our projects wish list every year since I've been on council, and was really glad that it made the cut, and I was really disappointed that the budget, the tender came in high, and I'm really pleased that town staff are going to be able to partner with a few tradespeople to get this done under budget. I'm fond of saying that our staff can do anything, they just can't do everything. I'm glad that you're able to find a way to do this, because it's going to be really nice to get this done.
Thank you, Councillor Evans. Any other questions? Okay, Councillor Tower, you have a motion?
I do, Your Worship. I move that council approve the construction of the new Dufferin Street Sports Field utility shed to be done in-house with town staff, equipment, and resources, and authorize the necessary material and the required sub-trays to be purchased from the following companies as per submitted quotes. Paysant Home Hardware, $27,793.85, HST included. Oliver Earl Contracting, $9,775 and HST included. Corey Allen Plumbing and Heating, $3,809.45, HST included. And Tantamar Electric, $12,626.31, HST included.
Thank you, Councillor Tower. I believe you read the first number is 27,000?
Oh, 22,000, sorry, $22,793.85.
Thank you.
Yes, that's right.
Seconded by Councillor Evans. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. And I'd like to add kudos to town staff for their extra efforts in bringing this one in under budget. Okay, we'll move on now to recreation programs and events, and Councillor Butcher.
Thank you. The report can be found on page 31 and 32. The liaison group met on September 24th, 2018. Fall Fair weekend was an overwhelming success. The town was a very busy place, partially because homecoming weekend was the same weekend. The feedback from the event has been overwhelmingly positive, and I'd like to take a moment to thank all the volunteers who worked hard to make the weekend possible. Special thank you to Kristen Doncaster, who put hundreds of volunteer hours into making Family Day at the Doncaster Farm possible. Despite the rain, the 4th annual Sackville Pride Parade was another success. There was an estimated 300 participants taking part. The Trailblazers program will start on October 9th with 5 great new staff taking the lead, and over 80 children are taking part in the program, and there's a large waiting list as well. Fall pickleball is up and running at the Mount Allison Gymnasium on Mondays and Fridays from 1:30 until 3, and on Wednesdays from 9:30 until 11, and that will go until December. And 50+ and primetime aerobics are both full and underway. Pending council approval this evening, the Sackville Arts Wall Committee will welcome Kelly Matatal to the committee. Kelly will be replacing Dan Steves, whose 3-year term has come to an end. We would like to thank Dan for his service and support over the past 3 years. The committee has also suggested that the nomination period noted in Section 10A of the Arts Wall Governance Guidelines be changed from January to June to January to May, which better reflects the schedules of the selection board given the summer holiday season. A motion to appoint Ms. Matatal and accommodate the minor change in the governance guidelines is required. Work continues on the town's recreation master plan, and staff are working to identify major themes that have been suggested through the public consultation sessions, and we'll be looking to get the review group together in the coming weeks to keep the process on track. And as reported to council at the October 1st special meeting, an RFP was issued for the natural playground at Lilas Fawcett Park on September 19th, and it closed on October 3rd. Staff have reviewed the submissions, and there is a motion coming forward this evening. And there was no library report received by in time for this meeting. And that's my report.
Thank you, Councillor. Any questions of Councillor Butcher or Mr. Pride?
I move that council appoint Kelly Matatal to the Sackville Arts Wall Committee for a term beginning immediately and expiring October 31st, 2021.
We second her. Councillor Tower? Questions? Councillor Evans?
At the discussion meeting, when this was first brought up, there was a little bit of information provided, and I think I'm just going to read what was there because I think this is an excellent choice. I've worked with Kelly in the past, but she currently works at the math department at Mount A as a professional musician. She's also served on the town's heritage board and organized the family day at Doncaster Farm the first year after the original organizers decided to step away. So I'm pleased to support this motion.
Thank you, Councillor. Anyone else? Okay, call the question. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Councillor Butcher?
I move the council award RFP number 2018-16 for the design and installation of a natural playground at Lilas Fawcett Park to Cobequid Trail Consulting Limited, Economy NB, in the reduced amount of $46,931.50, HST included.
Thank you, Councillor. I think it should be Economy NS. Yeah. Do I have a seconder? Councillor O'Neill? Any comments? Any question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. And Councillor Butcher?
I move the council approve a change to Section 10A of the Sackville Arts Wall Governance Guidelines, which would now read, a call for nominations will take place in January of the selection year with a deadline of the second Friday in May for submissions to be made to the town.
I have a seconder, please. Councillor Black? Any discussion? Question? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Okay, thank you, Councillor Butcher. We'll move on to public safety and Councillor O'Neill.
Thank you, Your Worship. Sackville Fire and Rescue responded to 16 calls for service in the month of September, which included 5 commercial fire alarms, 4 motor vehicle collisions, 3 utility pole fires, 3 rubbish fires, and 1 electrical fire. The total number of calls for service to date in 2018 is down compared to the same time frame last year. During September, members trained in boat operations, water rescue skills, pump operations, and station and equipment checks. An open house was held during the fall fair, which was very well attended. both by young and old, and they gained a clear understanding in how to better prepare their homes in the event of if an emergency should happen. This week is Fire Prevention Week, and the theme is Look, Listen, Learn, Beware, Fire Can Happen Anywhere. Also, the chief reminds us to replace your smoke alarms every 10 years. Be sure to test these life-saving devices monthly. The firefighters are continuing to cook pancakes for the children on Tuesday mornings as part of the breakfast program at Salem Elementary School. A huge thank you is extended from the fire department to those in the community that help support their annual truck draw fundraiser. This year they sold the complete number of tickets, 3,500 tickets. So I think we should all feel proud of the way that the town and surrounding area did support our fire department. And as well, the committee members wish to thank the Main Street Esso, Sackville Tribune Post, Sackville Save Easy or Sackville Independent, and many other businesses within the community and surrounding area. The chief also reminds citizens of Sackville and surrounding areas to begin preparing for the winter heating season, have their furnace, chimneys, and vents inspected and cleaned by a qualified professional. He also wants to make sure that your civic numbers are visible from the road, and also be sure to have a basic 72-hour kit ready in case of an emergency. And I think that's all of our fire department. If there's any questions, I'm sure the chief would be glad to answer them.
No questions? Councilor O'Neill?
And I'll move on to the police services. Our CMP responded to 120 calls for service, slightly higher than the 111 calls in September of last year. And the main point of concern noted was the increase in property crime complaints / investigations. There were 6 break-enters and thefts, while 9 complaints were other types of theft. The chief police reminds the council and public to spread the word to lock your vehicles, sheds, and homes at all times, and also take precautions if you're going to be away from your principal residence for more than a day by leaving strategic lighting on or having a neighbor and family or friends check your property. To remove leftover newspapers if they're outside, or signs that the home is vacant. The past month there was 1 impaired and 1 suspended driver stopped and charged, 9 tickets issued, and 2 check stops were completed. And I think they said that the past month there were increased patrols in school zones for the start of the school year, as well as foot patrols and traffic assistance completed during the fall fair. And I think that's all of that. And then also there's a report here from our CPO, and he works with the schools, Mount Allison University, Tanimar High, Marshview Middle, and Salem Elementary, and he's available anytime that the request comes to him for service for his work. In the community, he keeps visits to the hospital, positive tickets. He issued 2 in September. He continues with MAD Canada, Cops and Kids Leadership Camp. He's organizing 2 camps back-to-back at the end of October, and he's already starting to recruit chaperones and receiving applications from students. And he works with an RCMP auxiliary program for the Sackville area, who is presently looking to recruit new volunteers in the coming months. His different committees are Crime Stoppers, Block Parent Program, Link Program Committee, Youth and Adult Diversion Committee, Access to Mental Health Committee at the Mount Allison University. So this lad stays as busy as anybody that I can imagine. He also works with Mothers Against Drunk Drivers and the Sackville Bicycle Registration Program. And I think I'll leave that as the end of his report.
Thank you, Councilor O'Neill. Any questions of the councillor? Okay, thank you. I'll call on Councillor Black for the policy bylaw report.
Thank you. The policy and bylaw report can be found on pages 37 to 40. The Policy and Bylaw Liaison Group held their meeting on September 20th, 2018. As noted last month, the new Local Governance Act requires municipalities to have a policing bylaw, which staff have been working on the final draft, which was presented at the liaison meeting. The bylaw was presented to council at the special meeting of council on October 1st, 2018, and will be brought forward at the regular council meeting tonight for council to consider first reading. The clerk's office is finalizing the travel claims for councillors who attended the UMNB conference in Fredericton at the end of September for processing. The clerk's office, with the assistance of all departments, continues to compile a master file of all forms used by each department, and in the coming months work towards a consistent format of any town-issued forms. The clerk's office is continuing to work on the drafting of a substance abuse policy, which has been forwarded to council for their review and comments, and will be brought back to a policy bylaw liaison meeting in the future for further review. And I've got a motion as well.
Thank you. Councillor Black, are there any questions? Okay, Councillor Black.
I move that council give first reading in name only to bylaw number 263, a bylaw respecting Sackville policing.
Seconder, Councillor Tower. Is there any discussion? Okay, thank you. Question? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you, Councillor Black. Personnel. Is that you again? Councillor Evans.
Okay, council, the personnel liaison met on October 4th. During the pay period of September, there were 35 permanent employees, 3 temporary and 3 summer students. Town continued the hiring process for the arena attendant position and bylaw enforcement officer, and pleased to report that Adam Beal was appointed to the arena attendant position. And we already know now that Corey Springer is a new bylaws officer. Town also confirmed staffing resources for the fall period at the Visitor Information Center, as well as a term appointment in Finance Administration to cover a period of leave. And that's it. I don't think I had.
Thank you, Councillor. Any questions of Councillor Evans? Okay, we'll move on to Corporate Affairs and Strategic Development. Councillor Butcher.
Thank you. The report can be found on page 42 and 43. Our liaison group met on September 26th. Work continues on the town's new business development strategy being led by Lionsgate Consulting and 4L Strategies Consulting. The consultants have completed the literature review and are now conducting an internal audit of the town's current organizational structure and the approach used, as well as researching best practices. Key informant interviews are also underway. The consultants will be in Sackville on October 29th for a series of engagement sessions, including a public session from 7 till 9. The strategy required by the strategic plan is expected to review our organizational structure as it pertains to economic development, examine past and current approaches utilized by the town, review best practices and partnership opportunities, identify priorities, and provide tactics and measurements for the community economic development work of the town. And staff expect a draft strategy in December. Staff continue to assist our engineering consultants, Crandall Engineering, with the revised design for Lawrence Street Phase 2 and the land assembly needed for the overall long-term concept. Once the engineering design and the tender package and process are completed, a public information meeting will be scheduled to discuss the anticipated start date, the construction schedule, neighborhood disruptions, etc. In the lead up to the Canadian legalization of cannabis that's scheduled for October 17th, staff are part of a working group established at Mount Allison, which includes university staff, students, and RCMP in the town. The legalization of cannabis raises questions for students, both on and off campus, as well as residents. The group is hosting a campus forum on October 29th and have released a variety of information on the university's harm reduction approach, along with the relevant policies on campus. The town will also be providing information on our corporate website as it pertains to recreational cannabis within the community and on public property. You can visit www.mounta.ca/code of conduct/cannabis for updates on the university's no smoking policy, the student code of conduct, and the residents' life code of conduct. And you can also visit mounta.ca/community/student services/health and wellness/cannabis, cannabis harms, blah, for information on Mount A's harm reduction approach as well. We've now completed the ecological gifts process with Environment Canada for the Lund Estate property. And there are 6 properties in total which are now owned by the town of Sackville. And staff are proceeding with the environments that were outlined in our 2018 capital budget program, which is subject to the approval of EC given the ecological gifts program. Staff are working with EC on the authorization. Staff were pleased to attend an experiential learning gala at Mount Allison on the 19th. The opening, held in partnership with the university, the New Brunswick Business Council, along with the Atlantic Chamber of Commerce and BioNB, served as the official launch of the experiential learning office at Mount A. And we look forward to working with Mount Allison on this initiative and the opportunities that it presents. Staff completed research on the potential for a tall grass bylaw over the month of September, and are continuing to work on a major revision to the Heritage Grant Program. And that is my report.
Thank you, Councillor Butcher. And that brings us to the end of the reports. I'd just like to take a brief step back and offer thanks to the fire department for the open house they had, was it a couple weeks ago, Craig? I think given the looks on the faces of the 5-year-old boys that were there and girls, you're not going to be hard pressed for too many volunteers in the future. Okay. Are there any? Yeah. Okay, we'll move on. We actually have something under new business this month. Our first is a bylaw, or drafting a bylaw to regulate height restrictions of grass. Councillor O'Neill.
Thank you, Your Worship. I understand that this was discussed last week at our discussion meeting, which I'm sorry I missed. However, feeling very strongly on this, I'd like to bring this motion forward. I move that Council confirms interest for staff to proceed on the development of a draft bylaw to regulate height restrictions of grass on residential property within the town of Sackville.
Do I have a seconder? No. In absence of a seconder, the motion can't proceed. Councillor Black.
Thank you. I want to read a letter sent to us by Megan Mitten, dated October 9th, 2018. Attention, Mayor and Council. Please accept this letter as my formal resignation from my position as Councillor of the Town of Sackville effective Tuesday, October 9th, 2018, in order to take on my new role as member of the Legislative Assembly for Memramcook-Tantramar. It has been an honor to serve on council with you this term. During this term, I have had the opportunity to learn from my fellow councillors, town staff, and citizens, and I will use this experience to continue to serve the people of Sackville and the whole riding. Working with Mayor Hyam and council, every town employee I've worked with, and countless community members has been a pleasure. Everyone is working hard to make Sackville such a special place, and I will miss working with you at Town Hall. However, I look forward to working together in my new role in the legislature. Yours truly, Megan Mitten. And that being said, I have a motion as well. I move that Council of the Town of Sackville, after accepting Councillor Megan Mitten's letter of resignation effective October 9th, 2018, hereby declares a vacancy for the position of Councillor on the Town of Sackville's Municipal Council.
Thank you. To have a seconder? Councillor Evans. Any questions?
I'm going to say no.
I can call the question. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? I declare the motion carried. For your information, the next step in this process is for us to inform Elections New Brunswick that a vacancy exists and a by-election should be called. When that will be, we have no idea. All right. Being no further business, we'll move on to question period. Mr. Work?
Thank you. I just need more information on the Lilas Fawcett Park, the costs there. There were different figures earlier. These ones seem to be lower. I'm talking about the $46,931 contract.
Mr. Pride?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Yeah, the original quote was for us to be able to get some pricing so that we could apply for grants. So when we submitted or released an RFP, we had the project listed as in 2 different phases. So phase 1, because we don't have enough grant money yet to be able to cover the full cost of the project, we, like I said, listed it as 2 different phases. So in phase 1, we asked that the contractor or consultant give us a price on what they could, or give us an idea of what they could do for $50,000 or under. And so they listed the various pieces of equipment that they were able to work with, and the price came out to the $46,931.50 HST.
And what will that equipment be?
Yep.
In phase 1?
Sure. That includes a new swing set, the log jam climber, which is basically a climbing apparatus that's built out of logs, ropes, and that sort of thing. And there was a photo of it in the original plan. And also a sand kitchen, which is more of a play area for younger children.
I didn't catch the...
A sand kitchen?
Okay, sand kitchen.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm wondering if, I just want to confirm this, why you would need a bylaw to regulate the height of grass. Is there no other bylaw that could fill that function?
We don't have one right now. We've talked about the unsightly premises bylaw covering that, but it's difficult to fit it into it, I believe. I know Riverview and Moncton and Dieppe, I think Dieppe, have tried these bylaws, and they're currently being tested in court, apparently. So it was...
I thought there was one if a home was on a corner,
Yeah.
sight lines one.
That's under the traffic bylaw, and I
Yeah.
believe the height of the grass has to be, Mr. Acton, was it 3 feet? 2 feet.
So then I'm correct in, aside from that, there's no bylaw at all in Sackville to regulate the height of grass?
Not easily enforceable, no.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, I will entertain a motion for adjournment. Councillor Tower, seconder. Councillor Black, all in favor? Aye. Declare it carried. We're done.